All right, what we have here is a chord. And a chord is a segment, so that's this guy right here, this red part, whose endpoints are on the circle. So that's a chord. And then we're going to learn a little bit about chords. So if we find that our central angles here are congruent, so this guy is congruent to that guy, then we know that the arcs are congruent. And if the arcs are congruent, we can go backwards, the converse. Then we know that the central angles are congruent. But now let's look at what this means for chords, what we just learned. So that's if these central angles are congruent, then we also know that the chords are congruent. So there's that. And then we can actually go backwards. If we know that the chords are congruent, then we also know that the central angles are congruent. They're all related. So there's that. And now, again, if we have our chords congruent, then we know that the arcs will be equal in measure. And if the arcs are equal in measure, it goes backwards and the chords are congruent. All of these are super related. Okay, now, if we find that the chords are, so the chords are equidistant from the center here, so the distance from that chord, and this has to be perpendicular in order to show that they're equidistant. If that is equidistant, then we know right here that the chords are congruent. So I can say that now this AB is congruent to CD. Okay, if we know they are equidistant, and again that goes backwards. If I know that they are congruent, then they're also equidistant from the center. So now we have, if we have a diameter that's going through here and we find that it is perpendicular to a chord, that means that that chord is cut directly in two. So CE is going to be congruent to DE. And those arcs are going to also be, it's going to be bisected. So this is going to be the same arc measure as this guy here. So it's just all cut in two if it's bisected by that diameter. One more here. Now we see that it goes backwards. If we have a chord that is already cut in two and perpendicular by something, then we know that this right here has to have the center on it somewhere. Okay, that center has to be on that chord if it's cutting one in half and bisecting.